what he brings to the table is a level of energy and positivity that makes you just believe.
He's not just my realtor, but he's my property manager as well as a dear friend.
It was very easy to get a hold of him. He was very good at communicating and always picked up the phone when I called.
My name is Gil Levy, and I'm honored being able to give Robert Morillo a positive testimonial, review, shout out, whatever you might want to call it.
Robert is a very fine individual, very solid individual.
I've been working with Robert for the past few years. I'm also his go-to photographer.
He's on top of his job, and he's very driven and focused, and he will get the job done.
He is your go-to. Robert does not take any shortcuts. This man is trustworthy. He's efficient. His work ethic like nobody else in the market.
If he doesn't get the job done, he can tell you who can get the job done.
And I highly recommend choosing Robert for your next listing.
All right, welcome everybody to episode 4 of So You Can Florida, the podcast. I got my man Jamel Phillips here with Abundant Future Financial, and we are going to give you information on how you can repair your credit to achieve your goals here in the Central Florida area. I'm Robert Morillo with Compass Orlando, and you can reach out to me for all things real estate. I got Jamel here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing
How's everything
fantastic.
going?
Doing great. Excited to be here with you today. You put a lot of people in homes.
Yeah.
And for all of you out there, having that home and being able to spend that time with your family or relax when you're not working is the most important thing to you. So I commend you for all you do.
Appreciate that.
and all I'm doing is trying to play a small role in helping you put people in those homes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So but you do much more than that. Because I'm gonna tell you, without what you do for the people, they can't even get into position to, not just buy a home, but apply for a loan, get business credit, finance a vehicle, and things of that nature. Yeah. So, I kind of want to dig into first of all, who you are, the brand that you're building for your services, and what the process is for the people who are looking to accomplish a goal past fixing their credit.
Yeah. Credit plays such a huge role in our lives today. It used to be your credit score was just for a mortgage. Now it's your credit score dictates the quality of vehicle that you have. Mm-hmm. Do you have something that's reliable that you want to put your family in? What is your insurance premium? Does this job trust you or not based on your credit score? And when it comes to lenders, they're constantly evaluating whether or not to issue you credit based on your past history. Mm-hmm. And so for so long, credit has been this thing that people fear. And so the thing I come across so often is, no matter what you do have, most people do have some type of credit history. If you've avoided credit because you didn't understand it, or the people that nobody ever taught you or raised you to understand credit, and you feared it, you tend to have nothing but negative accounts on your credit report, so you have bad history.
Even if it doesn't belong to you, just because you've ignored it for so long that it's like, hey, whatever's on there is on there, and I'm just ignorant to it.
And there are quite a few mistakes. I think it's 8 out of every 10 people have inaccuracies on their credit report. So these are things that if you're not paying attention to, could be haunting you or preventing you from living the life that you deserve.
That's deep.
Yeah,
that's deep. So, the life that you deserve. Let's talk a little bit about Abundant Future Financial, because before, we had crossed paths and you were doing credit repair. I had briefly mentioned to you that I also offer credit repair to clients who are looking to buy a home and just not ready to go yet. So tell me a little bit about your brand. Why did you venture off into your own path, and what is it that you're able to offer to your clients?
So one thing a lot of people don't know is many years ago I got into a car accident.
Okay.
Up until that point, I had perfect payment history on everything. I had always had great credit come out the gate. My friends would tease me and say, hey, you have amazing credit. We can't get approved for anything. And so it was when that car accident happened, I lost everything almost, about 8-9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally went from perfect payment history to repossession to collections to student loans, late payments, like you name it, it was on my credit report. It was bad. So when I look at people's credit reports, trust me, I started where you did, right?
Yeah.
And so up until that point, I had good management of credit.
Mm-hmm.
But with everything that happened, literally life happened. Life throws a curveball. It happens to a lot of us. You can't foresee it coming. So
how bad did it get? Did you have to like file bankruptcy or anything like that?
I never filed bankruptcy.
Okay.
Something just told me not to do it.
Okay.
Now a lot of people don't realize that bankruptcies can be removed from your credit report, along with all the negative accounts that are associated with that bankruptcy.
Okay.
But in my situation, I chose not to file bankruptcy, which actually was a blessing in disguise, because years later when I learned how to remove those negative accounts, that's what actually
that was the skill set that you obtained out of the situation, right?
Yeah, because it's not just about managing your credit. It's about figuring out how to remove those negative accounts. Like anybody that's trying to fix their credit, they have the negative accounts on there, and they can't figure out how to get those accounts off. So that situation and the pain that I went through. So I went through years of having poor credit.
That's so key, that pain.
Someone having a 485 and not being able to get approved for anything, or if I got approved, having extremely high interest rates, not being able to get a place. So all of those different things, created pain inside of me. And then when I went out into the world and say, hey, let me address my credit, let me get somebody to help me. It's like, hey, we want to turn you into a monthly payment. We want to give you a low monthly payment, but we don't want to provide customer service. We don't want to respond to you, and we're not going to actually remove anything. And so that's what took place. And so as I learned more and more about what was wrong with the industry, I became obsessed with figuring out how do you really solve these problems, how do you get these negative accounts removed. And then discovering and figuring that out finally, which wasn't something that I could just, I couldn't just Google that. It cost me a lot of money to learn, and it took specialized knowledge. But now that once I learned and I figured it out and I saw proof, I said, let me turn around and begin to help people, because I believe that just my personal belief is that we all deserve to prosper. We all deserve the very best. Like you, your children, your family members, your friends, you want what's best for them, right?
Absolutely.
And so I want that for other people, and I want that for myself. So Abundant Future Financial became the vehicle for me to actually do that and help impact people's lives by getting them results. In a world where, so many people want to make money off of credit repair, because that's what most of the industry is. Most people want to make money off of credit repair.
Yeah.
But they're not truly committed to changing people's lives.
To doing the work that's required to put them in a different position.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, when someone says, hey, when they're willing to have the conversation and open up about, why they're trying to fix their credit, what is currently on their credit. Because sometimes it's shameful. Like, you avoid the conversation or you avoid looking at your credit because you're ashamed of your situation, truth be told, right? You were probably at one point like, oh man, I got into this accident. Now I have all this negative account. Now I'm in debt, and it's like, where do I start? Who do I talk to?
I wouldn't even talk about, for years, I wouldn't talk about credit. If somebody started talking about credit, I might
change
still
the
physically
conversation.
there. I'm no longer participating in the conversation. Because it's something that most people are ashamed of what their credit score is. They don't understand what their credit rating is. They don't understand what's good, bad, better, best. They don't understand that.
And even better, they don't understand the power of being able to do something about it. So until they meet somebody or they hit that brick wall, it's like, hey, hold up, you want to buy this, but your credit is not up to par. It's like, all right, let's, hey, you got to do something about it.
Most people are 6 months to a year away from their credit being completely restored.
Okay. So is that the amount of time that you see results in, or are you able to solve the problem much quicker than that?
My clients tend to see results within the first 8 weeks. Depending on what they specifically have on their credit report, I always tell them, look, you're looking at realistically about 6 months to a year.
Okay.
Some people, they have, if you have 100 accounts that are negative on your credit report, that could take a lot longer than somebody that has like 5 to 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody's situation is unique, and everybody wants to know about timelines. But me specifically, I work using credit reporting laws, as well as collection practice laws to enforce people's rights to get those negative accounts removed.
Okay, so what matters more, if there's more accounts on the credit report, or if the account has been on there for a long time? Like, let's say a 7-year collections account versus a new collections account? Like,
Well, the
which one
longest-
is harder to remove?
Well, I mean, because I use the law, literally, if it's a collection, that's actually something that's been purchased by a third party.
Okay.
You never entered into an original agreement with that person, with that
For
party.
a product or a service.
Right. So, for them, they're putting that on your credit report to try to manipulate your behavior to repay that debt.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you understand the law and you actually enforce that law, your rights, now you're holding them accountable for proving that they actually entered into that original agreement with you. If they can't verify that, then the debt has to be removed.
Gotcha.
Whether it's been there for 6 years, 7 years, or whether it's just been added to that credit report. And after 7 years, that account should not be on your credit report any longer.
On its own, or you have to do something
that
to...
should normally fall off of your credit report. There are instances where you have to actually enforce it because they're, and this is the thing when it comes to with your creditors, when it comes to these lenders, when it comes to credit bureaus,
Mhm.
you have to be on top of them. You have to hold them accountable. They have absolutely no vested interest in making sure that they take care of you. They're looking to line their own pockets,
Mm-hmm.
and they know that as long as those accounts are on your credit report, then hey, that benefits them.
Mhm.
So, it's about you being responsible or either having somebody that's an advocate for you, that's enforcing the law, that helps you understand what's on your credit report, helps you to challenge and remove the negative accounts that are on your credit report.
Mhm.
Or if you have the time, effort, and energy, you can do that yourself and then hold these institutions responsible. Most of the things that I see on credit reports are listed illegally. One of the biggest things that people don't realize is illegal to be on your credit report is child support.
Mm.
It's against the law. There's actually a law. I believe the case was in 2017. Child support is not a line of credit.
I had no idea that it was illegal for child support to be on there. I thought it was perfectly okay.
So people don't realize that, or know about that law, or know about that court case. Therefore, hey, it sits on their credit report and it's
And they just let it be.
mark. And so that's why I say it's important for you to understand the law. I help people enforce their rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. But enforcing your rights, you can restore your credit. And I use the term credit restoration because I'm restoring your name, I'm restoring your credit by removing these negative accounts.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that I do is I then educate people. I know you probably come across it often. Somebody might have a very thin credit profile.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Yeah, they need to buff it up. They need to reestablish. After restoring, they need to reestablish their profile.
And so what do lenders usually talk, when you talk to lenders, and what are they usually saying to you about a thin credit portfolio, or how challenging it makes it for them to make a decision?
Well, the fact that lenders typically want to see at least 3 trade lines, 3 active trade lines, and the fact that it's being used. Like they want to see some usage out of those lines.
Right.
In some cases, you might have to be added to someone else's card as an authorized user. And not too often, they ask you to open a new line of credit, or they ask you to shut down or remove any negative items from your reports.
And so the first part, because 35% of your credit score is your
The
past payment history.
Yeah.
So that's when we're removing all those negative accounts. The second 30% of your credit score is actually what's active and open. So
Your variety.
And so when a lender can actually look at your credit report and see, hey, this person actually has lines of credit open, is using them and managing them responsibly, it's easier for them to make a determination about approving you versus, hey, this person has nothing open, they really don't use credit. How can I trust you with $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 if you haven't shown me that you can manage $500,000, $1,000, $10,000? So the second phase of what I do is I help to educate my clients on how to properly build up their credit portfolio. It's not just about the score. Your portfolio also has to be complementary to that.
That's facts. That's facts. The score is just an indication of where, let's just say for a purchase of a home, where you might lock in an interest rate, but it's not the determining factor or the approval, because then you have your debt to income ratio, so that goes down to management. So how do you help people in budgeting for whatever their goal is, and managing the amount of credit that they use for the cards they have access to?
This is what I always say, and because this is what I did myself. I said, okay, after everything happened to me and I decided to rebuild my credit, I said, all right, I got all this money in savings, but it's not benefiting me. That of course, savings, you get a small interest rate, right, or percentage, or whatnot. But I said, how can I use this money and have it benefit me? So what I did was I began to open up secured cards, right? Okay. So now let me demonstrate and show that I can keep a low utilization on my secured cards to show that I'm responsible managing credit, right? So, I kept my utilization below 20%.
Okay.
And I always tell my clients, look, the big buzzword in the industry is 30%. Everybody says keep your utilization below 30%. Nobody ever tells you that if you lower your utilization, the more you lower your utilization, the more points you get for your credit.
The better you look.
Right. So 30% is like, okay, this person's kind of risky. If you're at 20 or below 20, it's like, okay, well, this person actually, I gave them a large available credit limit, but they're managing it responsibly. They're not using it as cash. They're not maxing out their card. So maybe I can trust them with more. And so it's like, that's the psychology that you really need to look at it from. And the other piece of it is, I said, okay, well, what do I spend money on that I could put on a credit card and just pay it off?
Yeah.
Right?
So it's something you already have the cash for, you're going to buy it anyway. So let me just go ahead and put this, $30 gas into my car with the card, right? And probably get some rewards points for the gas station you're using. And I'll pay it with the cash that I already have. Now, instead of using this cash, I'm going to put it in my account, make sure when the payment comes up, I'm ready to pay the credit card.
Exactly. So now you're in a situation to where you're building your credit because you're using the credit card. You're getting perks or rewards because you're using the credit card. You're protected because you're using the credit card as opposed to your debit card. And you're only spending money that you would have already spent otherwise with a debit card, right? So you just making that small, subtle change, you're building your credit, but you're not using credit as cash because you don't have the cash available. Credit is all about the principle of management. Like how are you managing your finances? How are you managing your life? And so what a lot of people fear is that they won't make the right decisions. So with me and the way that I deal with my clients, I want to help you crawl before you walk, before you run. A lot of times in this industry, people will, have all of these different fancy bells and whistles or things that they tell you about, but you're not even prepared because you haven't developed the principles or the behavior.
The behavior, ooh, that's key. That's the key word
to
right
even
there.
handle it. You might make a bigger mistake if you pull this off.
If you get access to more money, yeah.
Because you don't know how to manage it. So depending when I'm having my conversations with my clients, and they're like family, I like to do monthly reviews. We have conversations about where you're at, okay, what you need to be focused on now, and how to get you where you need to be. And everybody's situation is unique. If you need to get a home right now, and that's your main focus, okay, let's collect your credit report, make sure you have the proper number of trade lines or open accounts, so that way you look good to a lender, and we're positioning you to get approved for that. If you have more time and you're really trying to rebuild your credit for a long-term goal, it's different, and the techniques and the things that I teach are different.
Gotcha. Okay, so when someone comes to you and says, hey, Jamel, I was referred to you, or I was told that you can fix credit, like, what is your process like from intake all the way through to the educational portion of your business?
So for me, the first thing I do is a free credit evaluation.
Okay. And they don't have to pay you as soon as they get on the phone, right?
No. My policy is it's all about your timing. Okay. I remember when I went through it, I had to go on my timing. I didn't have
when you were ready.
I couldn't afford it. I was like, look, and then when I learned all this stuff, I was like, it was tight, but I saw the value in it. I spent probably over $12,000, $20,000 from what I didn't know, using the wrong companies, learning, buying different things that I could find online. Most of the stuff didn't work, but I invested the money because I knew that if I figured out how to fix my credit, it would pay more dividends. It was priceless. And
you could package it into something you could offer to your now clients.
It wasn't even about that in the beginning. It was just about me being obsessed with figuring this out and restoring my life and being, just me being who I am as a man. I knew that credit was important because credit was a reflection of my character and my behavior. That says a lot about you. Hey, I'm going to borrow money. Am I going to pay it back? Or do I just take money and just, hey, it's on you? So I wanted to address that, but then the more and more I got into it, I would have conversations with so many people, and it's such a huge issue. It's such a huge pain for so many people. And so many people have lost, they've lost $1,000, $5,000, and never got anything for it. So I said, look, with me, I'll get back to my process, but for me, my clients get unlimited disputes, and they're a lifetime client. If you connect with me, I'm going to take care of you.
Well, okay, regardless.
I want to build that relationship, and I want to make sure, I want to see you prosper. That's part of my personal accountability. So the first thing I do is a free credit evaluation. Let's talk. Let me get to know you, make sure you're a good fit for me in my program. make sure I'm a good fit for you and what your needs are.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I'll assess your credit. I'll show you how to pull your credit reports, look at everything, and tell you exactly where you stand and what you're looking at. From there, if you decide you want to become my client, that's on your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, from there, I'll go ahead and prepare everything for you, get everything mailed out. My service is a white glove service, so we make it easy as possible. From there, it's about just seeing those results and seeing those changes and then reassessing, seeing what's remaining, and just going ahead and continue with my process.
Okay. All right. And I mean, is there anything automated about your process when they first do that initial credit analysis? Is it on a Zoom call, or how do you guys
However
do
they
it?
prefer it. So if somebody wants to do a Zoom call, we can do a Zoom. If it's something that they just want to feel comfortable doing over the phone, do it over the phone. I really don't do it in person. Usually everything's pretty virtual.
Now, so basically, you can service anybody nationwide.
Yep, nationwide and Puerto Rico.
Okay, and Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Important.
clients out there too.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do speak Spanish.
Oh yeah.
I speak a good amount of Spanish. I'm not fluent like it's native.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
My team does. My team is fluent.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So you got members on the team that answer the phones and help you with part of the process
I
as
help
well.
so many people. We've grown now to where I have a team of people that are actually helping as well in managing. I call them credit consultants. I would be the credit specialist.
Okay, gotcha. So now part of the process is having to submit their items of identification, right? So let's just say I moved and my address is totally new, but I had not changed the address on my ID. How does that impact the bureaus getting back to me, or even if that information doesn't match my mailing address, will I get my results still?
Yeah, you'll still get your results. So the biggest thing is that's a simple phone call. Let me know what the new address is. I'll update that. Once that's updated, it's just about me making sure that documentation is sent directly to you.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as your ID, I haven't had any issues where a person moving or having a different mailing address, and then their actual address and ID has caused any issues or prevented
From the
them
process
processing of
still
their
going?
disputes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I know with, the Florida market is crazy right now. People are moving left and right. Some people haven't updated their information, and it's like, hey, this is the situation I'm in. I just got from one rental to the other. I want to buy a house, but I haven't changed my address yet.
Yeah.
Okay, how does payment work with you? Because we've already mentioned the companies
Right.
that, they string you along on this monthly payment plan.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you look at your profile, there's hardly any updates. You can't get anybody on the phone. What is it that they have to do to afford your services and get you on board with helping them out?
So what I do is I charge a one-time fee.
One-time fee?
It's a one-time upfront fee.
Okay.
My dispute is so powerful that I have to charge an upfront fee because literally I've had clients who were done within 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
So by the time literally their dispute hit, they're done. So my thing, and so I look at that two ways. So one, I look at it as, hey, if you work with me, I need your trust. I don't want to take you on as a client if you don't trust me, because this is a serious process. This is a lengthy process, right? So it takes time. I don't want you fidgeting over those 8 weeks like, hey, this guy is trying to take. I need you to know that I'm who I am, what I represent, and that I'm here to help you and serve you, and I'm going to walk you through this process. So I'm looking for the right type of clientele.
Gotcha.
Number two, what I charge is a fraction of what you would spend with anyone else.
The value that you bring.
And my thing is, and I'm understanding that everybody doesn't have, and sometimes I run specials, right now I'm running a $750 special, a one-time fee, $750 for one person, $1,200 for two people, right?
Okay.
But what you would spend if you went to one of these big companies that's dragging your process out for 12 months, if you're paying $100 a month, or 2 years or 3 years, you spent $1,200 for one person to 24 if it was 2 years, $3,600 if it was 3 years. Right.
And little do you know that you spent nearly, over $3,000.
Right. Whereas you could have signed up to work with me, started seeing results within the first 8 weeks, been done somewhere between 6 months to a year. But you can always call me up and, hey, I'll go ahead and dispute whatever you need me to dispute for you. You can always call me up and ask me questions. Jamel, how do I go about purchasing a car? How do I, what should I be thinking if I'm purchasing a home? How do I open up new credit cards to build up my credit portfolio? and literally I'll hop on the call because you've sewn into me, and we'll sit down and have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that type of access with these other companies. So, you know, and my thing is I can't service everybody, right?
Of course not. There's
people
way too many people who have the same problem.
Right? But I pride myself in the people that believe enough in me to work with me, and I want to take care of you, and I want to change your life. Anything I do, I change lives, and this is no different.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's why you got the crown on top of abundant, right? I mean, personally, I've been through the credit repair process maybe 2 to 3 times now. When I first went through it, my uncle had showed me how to do it.
Okay.
And then, you know, going through that process, I had the ability to do it for close friends and family.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got into doing it for certain clients just to experiment with it and see if I can put them in position to afford a home or to qualify for a home purchase, right? And it's worth the investment. Like, why would you not trade in some hard-earned cash to put yourself in a position to have access to the life that you want to live, right? Especially if it's for your family.
Exactly.
So what other things, like besides the home purchase, what other things do you help people accomplish with fixing their credit?
So one of the biggest things that people come to me for is to remove their student loans.
Okay.
So like one of the biggest myths that there is that student loans, you know, can't be removed from credit reports, which is not true. Student loans can be removed from your credit report from all 3 major credit bureaus.
Okay. Regardless of the status of the student loan? Or does it have to be in a certain status?
All of the statuses can be removed. You typically want it to be either open or you would want it to be deferred.
Okay.
And those are the preferred statuses that you would want those student loans to be in when you're challenging them. But they can be removed from your credit report from all 3 credit bureaus.
Okay. And that's regardless, because I know there's certain schools that had shut down and they weren't even accredited, and people had student loans for those schools, and it's like now you can't even do certain things, and you ended up not getting the credit that you deserve for the degree.
And literally it's sitting there. So there are laws and loopholes that you can leverage to get these accounts removed from your credit report. It's just about understanding how to properly go about disputing them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that even if you look at through my reviews, you'll see that I get student loans removed for a lot of my clients. So that's good to know. It makes a huge impact. And so typically what happens is somebody's looking to get a home, their debt to income ratio is entirely too high, so they need the student loans removed from their credit reports.
So far you've mentioned child support, bankruptcy, student loans, and which one is the most difficult to get rid of?
I'd say student loans are becoming increasingly more difficult. There are different laws. So this is the thing about credit, right? These are legitimate debts that people take on.
The ones that they signed up for.
Right.
And you're still able to remove it.
Right. So it's about law. So I mean, if you understand the law, you understand how to tiptoe around certain things to get these things removed. Now, at the end of the day, these are legitimate debts. So say, for example, you have a business, right? You make 1,000% of your money off of people owing you $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in debt, right? So this is how you make billions of dollars. So technically, there's a loophole, or there are laws or regulations that, you know, some people get off. Now, the more and the more people that get off and decide to, hey, then get off legally, and they don't repay you, what does that do to your pocket?
That takes money out of my pocket.
How do you feel about that?
I feel a little bit disrespected.
So, you know, what then happens is you have to find ways to fight back, or you use your influence to try to change laws. So, you know, as time moves forward, the laws are changing. There are a lot of laws that are changing. As knowledge becomes more, or practices become more commonplace, there are different things that change to make it a little bit more challenging to get these results. So, you know, in a lot of these companies, a lot of these things that are on your credit report, I think I mentioned it earlier, they're not legally on your credit report.
It's erroneous information.
So there are a lot of different. So what they'll do is they'll use loopholes to try to stick this stuff on your credit report, or put it on your credit report differently, you know, in a way that's not necessarily legal. But yeah, people don't realize that collections, judgments, foreclosures, medical bills,
evictions,
all
that public record stuff
comes off, man.
Yeah,
comes off your credit.
I've you know, because I've serviced people as well with the credit repair, and I've gotten child support off, But where can people find you? How can they get a hold of you? And how soon do you get back to people?
I usually respond pretty quickly. If it's not within a couple of hours, definitely by the next day. So my response time is I'm big on that. Sometimes, a lot of times, people will reach out. I make it one of my big pet peeves is communication and being accessible.
Okay.
So usually I answer right away. I get in a lot of trouble because I'm answering calls from like 9 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night.
When you say you get in trouble, you get in trouble by the wife, right?
Yeah. She's like, look, it's family time. And I'm like, this person needs help. This is what we do. So I respond right away.
That goes back to you treating your clients like family.
They are. They're part of the family. We laugh and joke, man. So I have a website. My main website is abundantfuturefinancial.com.
Okay.
You'll see my results. You'll see kind of like my psychology and how I go about the process, what to expect as a potential client. I also have a Facebook group, Credit Transformations. We remove all. And so that's a place where you can come, you join the group, hang out, learn more about me, learn different little credit tips here and there.
Is that where you go live on most of the
that's
most of the
usually
time?
where I go live.
Okay.
I want to make sure that the people that when I go live, it's for people that really want to hear that information. So I tend to teach a little bit more there. I do a lot of Q&As there to make sure that people are getting the answers to questions that they have. I'm on Instagram as well. On Facebook. So those are the primary
What's your
platforms.
Instagram handle?
Jamel, JAMEL_L_Phillips.
Okay.
So anywhere you Google, if you Google Jamel L. Phillips, you'll find me.
On all the social media channels.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What if someone's already worked with a credit repair before?
So that actually happens often. So a lot of times somebody has worked with somebody else or multiple other companies, and they're like, hey, can you help me? And so I work with a lot of people that had previously worked with others and not gotten any results. So
and that could be the most frustrating because it's like now they feel like they're falling into that pit.
and so my thing is, I'm big on this. I let people come to me when it comes to that, and so I kind of explain my process and what to expect. And then I tell them about my experience because I've been through the exact same thing, and that's what motivated me
now
to
they
get
can
into this
relate.
business. Right. So if they decide that they want to actually move forward with me, I make sure I take good care of them. They usually, but that's again them seeing their results within the first 4 to 8 weeks and starting to see things being removed. That is very reassuring for them. So they know that the work is being done and that we're moving forward with the process. So that's huge.
Yeah, that's major.
Yeah.
That's major because it's hard to trust. I've had a couple clients too coming from Lexington. Well, maybe I should. Let me not promote any of this.
I get a lot of those.
But
we're not going to give any free advertising.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all about Abundant Future Financial right now. So, but yeah, they come off of those other services, and it's like they're confused, frustrated, and they
spent a lot of money and
Yeah.
got no results. And I think one of the biggest videos that I have, one of the most biggest videos that I have inside the group is I actually address why paying these credit repair companies monthly won't get you the results that you're looking for. And so a lot of people have never really thought about it from the standpoint of, hey, wow, the moment that they finish with my credit report, they no longer get paid. So it benefits them to drag this process out and not help me get where I'm trying to go. And so they spend a lot of money in advertising and marketing, and they're pretty big companies out there.
Yeah, they have a lot of outreach.
But my thing is, and this goes back to my philosophy on the community. I believe the first things you have to do is you have to take care of yourself. If you build up yourself and make yourself a strong pillar, then you go to your friends and your family, and then you help to build them up. And if each one of us goes and we do that, then that's how you build out a community, and that's how you change the world. So
That's a nice approach.
It's the best approach from my perspective, but you have these big whole companies and institutions, but if few of us are doing the things the right way and we're helping as many people as possible, and then those people go and share that message or what movement of what's going on, we're able to affect and impact and change the lives of more people. So that's the goal, and I approach the credit business the same way that I approach life.
I like that. That was good. That was real good, man. So in any case, let's just say people come to you, they have a specific goal. What other resources do you have to provide once they've already reestablished themselves with their credits?
So once the credit's reestablished and they kind of achieve their goal, then it's about, I was having a conversation with a client about this the other day. I said, once we get you in the house, now we start to learn how to use credit to build wealth. Right. So you might have a couple of accounts. You might not have that, high limits, things like that. We got you approved for the house. Now, okay, how do you need to be going about getting increases in the existing credit lines? What type of credit cards should we be approaching based on your credit score and what you can, your income, all these different things, right? So how can we get you larger lines of credit? Now that you're starting to get those things, okay, well now what are you interested in? What is your passion? What is your gift? Because I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm having conversations with business all the time and teaching people how to use their idea and execute it. I'm an executor. So now how can we help you to build credit? How can we help you to leverage credit? And then how can you execute on your gift? And what is your purpose?
Nice, because now you're just taking the abundant future. Now I get the name.
Yeah.
Abundant Future Financial. Yeah. So, because that's dope. Now, I got into the house, like you said. I have this idea, I just never moved on it, and I feel stuck in my 9 to 5.
Exactly.
So you at that point you become somewhat of an advisor, a little past the credit repair specialist.
And it's deeper than that, because to me, each of my clients is a personal relationship. Anybody that calls my phone, once you, like, literally, I know who you are when you call my phone. I take you're an individual. You're important. You're a person. Your goals are important. Your family's important. So I want to help you maximize life. And, and the people that I come in contact with and I'm fortunate enough to work with in my lifetime, I'm grateful for that and my little contribution to their life.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I developed actually a credit repair rebate program to where, hey, it doesn't matter who you fix your credit with, right? You came over and you fix your credit with Abundant Future Financial, you could actually get your money back from the credit repair process once you close on a home. So pretty much, that's something I can extend to your audience and to people who are looking to accomplish that goal. And, they can reach me as well on any social media channel and here on the podcast. That's why we're doing this, to add value to people's lives, create an impact, and help people accomplish, in some cases, their lifelong dreams.
Yeah.
It was definitely a pleasure to be speaking about everything that you do, the reason why you do it, and see you making progress on what you're building here. So is there anything else you want to add as to how people could reach you, or anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, if you guys have questions, you can always reach me directly. My phone number is 407-860-1724.
Alrighty, and you can find him online at abundantfuturefinancial.com, right? That's it?
Yep.
Alright, so again, thanks a lot for tuning in to So You Can Florida, the podcast. This is episode 4. I'm Robert Morillo with Compass Orlando, Compass Florida, and the Cardona Signature Group. Feel free to reach out to me. My social media handle is at Real Estate Papi Shampoo. My direct line is 407-209-7409. And hit me up so you can learn more about Jamel and how we can get whatever you invest back in your pockets at the closing table. So feel free to give me a call or hit us up online, and we'll see you on the next one.